My name is Halima Iqbal. I am the CEO and founder of Oraan. At Oraan, I'm looking after everything from business strategy to vision to fundraising, growth, partnerships, and a lot of operations as well.
My name is Farwah Tapal. I'm the COO at Oraan and founder as well with Halima. Both of us started this now in 2018, so it's been about 2 years. My role over here is looking at anything that's especially back-end, all sorts of product work, design work, operations, and then anything that's customer relating but at the back end.
Oraan is a collaborative platform for group savings. What that means is we're digitizing a very commonly socially and religiously acceptable informal financial tool, ROSCA, which is commonly known as committees in Pakistan, and we're digitizing and putting people together in anonymous groups so that they're able to take control of their financial futures and become better at savings.
So, in design, and when we think about design thinking, it always starts with a big problem, right? And our big problem was, how can we help people save more? Or how can we reduce the GDP, savings to GDP ratio in Pakistan? That was the big problem. As soon as we started researching basic research, and we found that the informal sector is a large part of it, right? So where is the opportunity in the informal sector? And that was the basis of our research. And the idea is to understand and empathize first, right? So research is a big part of it. And part of that is the quantitative research that we did and the qualitative. As soon as we found out more about committees, we used to go and interject and understand more about committees. And when we started doing that, we started just with paper products, right? Just with paper, understanding and collecting data and understanding how these people actually operate. What are the pros and the challenges of running a committee, right? What is the role of a member and a manager? The first thing we understood is actually a manager is so important. And understanding that was very important, because half the battle is gathering people but also managing these people and managing the money. And that makes the opportunity so grand and so important in a place like Pakistan, where money is taboo, savings is taboo, having financial empowerment is so tough. You need to do it on their terms and on the people's terms. And that's the first thing we found.
The other challenge that comes, other than from a documentation perspective, the other challenge that comes is digital savviness. What we do is, from a product perspective and adoption of product perspective, it's actually very easy for them to understand what we're doing, because it is a socially and religiously acceptable product. But then moving them onto the digital platform, right? What we've done purposely is made our app or our service very, very customer centric and icon based. So it's very intuitive for them to be able to navigate into the app. How do you log a payment? How do you take part in a committee? All of that information is very icon based and very intuitive for them.
And customization for us is more around being able to cater to all sorts of people. And that means that, if you're a freelancer, you're still a valued customer just as much as a salaried employee is. You're a housewife. In fact, just because you're a housewife doesn't mean you don't have support, you don't have a family where you're able to do committees. And so a lot of that is, we figured that out, we've understood that, and we're able to customize for that.
For us, technology is an enabler, it's not a solution. So a lot of services and a lot of things that we learn is through being able to interact with our customer and then being able to find a tech solution that works for them and not necessarily just an end solution that we have thought about and that's the end of it. So it's an enabler for us, it's not the only solution.
Our platform is around committees. And the biggest question you get can go either way is around inflation. And for us, it is an important thing that people should be educated about, because you're saving, and that money is not an investment. It is actually just micro saving what you're doing in a committee. So you save month on month, small amounts, so that it doesn't hit your wallet, it doesn't hit you, affect you, but you're able to gather up to a large chunk. But that means that, a lot of committees that happen offline, happen traditionally are 20 months, 30 months, 40 months. But by the time you get that money, the value of the money is not the same. And we actually we talk every time somebody comes into our platform, we talk about that. But that's why we've actually limited our committees to 10 months. It's not more than that. It's short, it's sweet, it's over, but it also doesn't affect from an inflation perspective so much. It's hard to trust somebody, a company, anybody. And so the first thing we did to build our brand equity is actually financial literacy, and promoting just information around finance. That has been very important for us. My other background has also been in education, working in education. And so what we first of all did was actually create a curriculum and understanding basic sessions around budgeting, saving, investment, and questions like that, right? And we actually put that out on our website, on our app. But more importantly, we go out and run these sessions. We've done that with anyone aged 18, in fact 17 to 50 plus. We've done this at schools, and that has really helped. And we also do it digitally, online, on our Facebook communities. So that really helps people believe in us, because it's important to understand what you're getting into before you actually do it.
I think digitization of cash or money is a long way to go in Pakistan. Cash is king, and we as smaller fintech startups had to think about innovative ways of being able to document that cash transaction and not completely reject it. So the customer comes in, you have to provide them and play with their convenience rather than enforcing a solution on them. You cannot expect somebody to just change overnight that behavior if they're not comfortable doing it, right? So for us as well, we allow all modes of transactions happen, and we see the behavior changes gradually. But right now, I think one of the biggest challenges, yes, cash is the most readily and widely acceptable mode of payment. How do you create documentation around it? Right? How do you allow people to make a payment in cash but be able to get a receipt that they can keep as a proof? And then slowly and gradually these people will start finding digital payments as a better and a more convenient way of doing it.
We already see that, right? I mean, we have people, especially women, coming through, they don't have a bank account, and they come into a committee, and the first thing they start, they want to make a cash payment. The first one might be a cash payment. And they get a receipt on our app, they're interacting, they're building trust, and actually we've had multiple people open up bank accounts so that it makes it easier for them to transact. Or they're like, okay, we're going to find another mode, Easy Paisa, Jazz Cash. But the biggest success stories are that we're having people open up bank accounts simply because it becomes more convenient. But the first day, the first moment you have a conversation, that cannot be the challenge for them.
When you look at finance and financial technology companies within Pakistan, all of us are solving for the same problem, which is a national problem of financial inclusion, right? Making money more digital, making more and more people would come into the banking space. When it comes to partnerships and when it comes to solving a national problem, I think collaboration is the best way to go about it. We talk to all kinds of financial institutions at all times, where we go in a collaborative mindset where we're saying, hey, let's figure the problem out together. Instead of you saying that, okay, I'm going to work on this and Oraan's going to work on this, let's join hands and figure out a better strategy to create a more financially included Pakistan. One of the challenges that occurs in these kinds of partnership is women are not being considered right now. Everybody's more focused on, okay, how do we get men who are slightly more technologically savvy or financially savvy to come into the space first, and then we'll think about women. So that those are the few challenges that we face, and we're constantly looking for different partners, and we have some really good financial institutions where we're having these conversations and building products specifically for women so that it's easier for them to move into the formal economy. So we've partnered with financial institutions like MCBR, FFB for mutual funds needs for our people, and then EFU Life Insurance. One of the interesting products that we've come up with, EFU Insurance, which is very also specific to committees, is around committee protection plan. In case of death or disability, what happens? Who should be responsible for it, right? And that's also a faster way of moving people into the formal economy. I'm just adding this as a value proposition onto my platform. Growth and growth. I think it's always about getting more customers in the door. The more customers you have, the more your product can grow, right? The more you learn from them as well, the more you're able to service, the better partnerships you're able to bring in. I think growth is the center point of 2020.